let go of the hand of thought. Very successful people are not motivated by external things. They're internally motivated. You are your circumstances, right? And the human disease is to separate yourself from your circumstances. A lot of people in business are incredibly uncreative.
If you can become a social observer, if in any environment you can pay deep attention to the people around you and get a kind of an intuitive sense of who they are and what their tastes are like, then you'll be a very successful actor in this game. Well, I was seeing the fact that we live in a culture that's so technologically proficient that people weren't paying attention to what actually makes success in life, which is your brain, you know? And the brain is this insane instrument. It's incredibly powerful, incredibly complex, incredibly beautiful. And it has a certain kind of inclination, what I call a grain to it. And when you work with the grain of the brain, I'm sorry for the rhyming there, but when you work with it, amazing things can happen. You can flourish, you can become very creative, you can reach that level of mastery. And my worry and my concern was that with technology, people are relying so much on other things that they think everything is easy, everything can be fast, that if I want power or success, I can hack my way to it. I can get into cryptocurrency, and in a month I can make $1 million, and then I can do this, I can do that, I can do that. All these illusions. Whereas the truth of it is, true mastery, which is a beautiful thing to attain in any field, is something that lasts for 10, 20, 30 years. And it takes time and it takes effort. It takes years of work. It takes a point of an apprenticeship of maybe the proverbial 10,000 hours, although some of that has been debunked. But it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of effort. And people don't want to hear that. They want to hear that I could do it in 4 hours a week. I could master something. I want a hack. I want a drug. I want something to give it to me quickly. So my concern was people don't understand how the human brain works. It's so simple that when you spend time learning something that you love and that interests you, amazing powers start emerging from that. Well, the first part of your question, I mean, some people will spend 20,000 hours, I don't know, just put a number on it, and they don't end up becoming a master. So this man wrote to me, said, I've been a painter for my whole life. I've been painting for 40 years. I'm in my 50s now, and I'm not a master. So Robert, that debunks your idea. And what I tell him, my answer to that is, it's not a question of hours. It's a question of intensity. What makes a master is somebody who by the time they're 25 have put in the amount of work that you have put in by the time you're in your 50s. Because the human brain is most creative and most fluid when you are younger. And so you want to build those hours in that intense practice and discipline when you were younger, because that's when you were most creative. So that by the time you have put in a lot of hours and things start clicking in your brain, you're 29, you're 30, the brain is fluid, things are happening, you've got energy, amazing things will happen. It won't happen. It can happen, but it won't be as likely to happen when you're in your 50s and 60s. You're more set in your ways, you're more rigid, your brain is slowing down. So it has to be a function of intensity. But when it comes to finding your life's task, which is the first chapter of mastery, and quite frankly, to me, it's the most important thing in life. Even in Power, of all the books that I've written, it's the most important thing for anyone to find in life. Because when you find out what you were meant to create, what your task is, what you say your talent lies in, there has to be, of course, an element of love in it. The whole world just opens up, right? You will gain power. You will be good in the seduction game. Men or women will come to you because you're moving in the direction that your brain wants you to move in. You're learning quickly. You're becoming creative, and you fulfill, your dreams from when you were younger. I think the worst feeling for people that I found, the most tragic thing, is to get into your 50s and tell yourself, God, I could have been something else. I went down a wrong path. I could have found what I wanted to find, and I didn't do it because I listened to other people, because I was more interested in money than I was interested in mastery. And it's a regret, and it's too late at that point. So It's a function of emotional, and we talked about this in seduction. It's almost the key for everything, is your emotional engagement. So you're not going to learn, you're not going to put in those 10,000 hours or whatever it is that's required if you don't actually love or have some degree of an interest in it that's very deep and profound. So if you're told to become a lawyer because that's what your parents told you to do, you could, but it doesn't connect to you emotionally, you could spend 100,000 hours as a lawyer, but you're never going to reach a point of mastery because it doesn't connect to you. The brain learns fastest when you're in love with what you're learning, you know? So you've got to figure out what that is. And it's a process. It's not easy. It's not like I could give you a formula to tell you how to do that tomorrow. You have to go through a process of introspection. You have to look at things that really, really, truly excite you. The great psychologist Abraham Maslow talked about impulse voices in infants. Infants have these voices inside of them say, I like this food, I don't like that food. I like this activity, I hate that activity. It's not something that they can verbalize. It's something very deep inside of them. And all of us have these impulse voices when we're very young, but we stop listening to them as we get older, and we lose touch with what we really like and what we really don't like. We're listening too much to other people, particularly in the era of social media. So a lot of figuring out your life's task is getting rid of all that noise, of getting rid of what everybody is telling you. It's getting rid of what the culture is telling you. It's getting rid of what people on social media are telling you. And it's listening to yourself and listening to what you love. I mean, I could go on for hours and hours, and I wrote a book on it about your life's test, because there are other things I could talk about, but I don't want to take up all our time. But the main thing is going into yourself and not listening to other people that will help you get there.
No, you don't want to make people aware of that. That goes into the 48 laws of power. You're going to trigger their insecurities. And although they might say, thank you, Francesca, that really opens my eyes, I really appreciate that, deep down they're going to resent you. And at some point that resentment will turn into sabotage or coldness. It's going to hurt you. It's going to damage you in the end. You can't win that kind of game. So leave people alone in their own irrationality. And in fact, the more irrational people are around you and the more in control you are, the more power you have. I mean, if I could, I wrote the book to help people get out of their irrationality. But these aren't people I personally know. They're my readers. But if I were dealing like with my mother or my sister or somebody that I love or someone close to me, I wouldn't go near that. That's like putting your head in the mouth of a tiger. Just let people have their illusions. Let them think that they're smart and control and rational. I have a chapter in that book about people's self-belief, right? I think it's number 7. You don't want to violate their belief. And I say there are 3 universals people have. One of them is that I'm in control of my life. It's my own willpower. Another one is that they're intelligent, right? And so if you insult people's intelligence, if you say that they're irrational, you're basically insulting their intelligence, right? So, and you're going to pay a price for that. Well, the whole book is centered on the premise of just becoming aware of these tendencies in you. And so you have to do some introspecting.
Yeah.
You have to look at your own life. I think a good place to start is the largest failures in your life, the biggest mistakes you have made, okay? And normally, when a mistake is made, a large one or a failure, a business that didn't work out, a book that wasn't successful, whatever, your first tendency is to blame other people, right? Is to say, oh, that asshole, he screwed me, or they didn't understand me, or it was their fault, or whatever. You're looking for excuses, right? You're not looking outside of yourself. And normally, you'll find your irrationality in these failures, in these mistakes that you made. So to give you an example, for instance, going back to 50 Cent again, I promise you, not all the examples are going to be about 50. We had a book that we were writing together. I'm bringing this up because it was like one of my big failures, a failure that people don't know about. I've talked about it before, but we were doing a book together. We had a contract and everything. And I was so intimidated by him and by his celebrity that I made the book just about him and his business and everything. And it was flat. It didn't work well. And the publisher of the book canceled the project, which was a major blow, and, I didn't look very good in this process, in this relationship. And so I had to face myself. And then another person came in and he said, Robert, the problem with this book is that it's too much about him. You need more of yourself in it.
Oh.
Okay. Now, if I were irrational, the irrational thing would be to blame the process, to blame. Nobody told me that in the beginning. Nobody gave me any direction. I had to look at myself and I had to go, I was intimidated by him. I wasn't thinking straight. I wasn't planning. I wasn't seeing the larger picture. Rationality is being able to get outside of your own emotions, right? Is being able to see something from a reasonably objective point of view. And that's reasonable because you can never be purely objective. So looking at my failure, I could see that I was emotional, that I wasn't being objective, that I wasn't seeing the larger picture. With the larger picture being that this book with 50 would be more successful if I brought more of myself, my own spirit, my own style, my own ideas into it, and not just be about him. So looking at that, I could see my limitations. I could see that I can be intimidated by people. I could be afraid, and that wasn't the right attitude. So looking at your failures and what you've done wrong, and it doesn't have to be in business, it could be relationships. It could be a partner that you were with that it ended up badly. And your natural thing would be to blame the other person. The point of the whole book is to always look at yourself. Instead of always looking at other people, what they did to you, what the world is doing to you, what politics is doing to you, what the globe is doing to you, look at yourself. You are to blame for the bad things happening in your life, right? By looking at yourself, you can start to become more rational. You're never going to be completely rational because we're animals. We have emotions. We're governed by them, right?
Yeah.
But always looking at the part you played in the things that go wrong in your life. So you feel anger, right? And the anger is directed at another person or a group, all right? You have to be able to step back and analyze your anger and go, is it really because of them? Or is it because of me that I'm angry? Is it something that is triggering me from my childhood, from my own insecurities? The ability to analyze your own emotions, to not react, and to go, why am I angry? Why am I impatient? Why am I upset? Why am I depressed? That will really help bring more kind of objectivity and more control and more mastery and more rationality into your life. Well, one thing is, true success, we're talking about true mastery and true power as opposed to the fake version that you can get on social media. One thing is they don't do it for the attention. That's a very big difference. It's the difference between two types of people who are outer directed, people who are inner directed, right? So I know with my own work, I have to love what I'm doing. I can't be writing books for money. I can't be writing books for attention. Now, I'm not Mahatma Gandhi. I'm not a saint. Obviously, I do want money and I do want attention. I have to admit that. But it's not the guiding impetus behind me doing my work. It's because I love my work. I love creating. I love reaching readers. I love communicating ideas, right? So very successful people are not motivated by external things. They're internally motivated. And what's great about that is you can get up in the morning and you go, this is what I need to accomplish. These are the things I need to do. This is what matters. This is what's important. You don't need somebody telling you. You don't need a boss. You don't need a partner or anybody else telling you, this is how you have to structure your life. You're able to do it yourself because you know what you need to do and you're in love with it. And there's a lot of desire and passion and emotion going into it. So that is the number one quality, I think. The other quality is a high amount of discipline, right? So to accomplish anything is difficult. In this world is incredibly competitive. It's getting worse and worse because this is a good thing. More and more people around the globe are competing for the same slices of the pie.